Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Houston Rockets franchise here on NBA 2K25. And last episode, we did see our Houston Rockets take a loss in the opening night game of group play for the NBA Cup here in the third installment of the first installment of the season of the NBA Cup. Last year, of course, the Lakers did win it last year. And this year, we're looking to compete this year. Houston has actually had a pretty good season to this point. We're sitting at 8-10 after taking a loss in our last sim game. Today, we're going to be getting into our third action of group play versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. And the reason this is the third one and not the second is because I did sim through the very second game, and we did get the win, which is against the Portland Trailblazers, which is why we're sitting at 1-1. We started off 0-1. We did lose to the Clippers on the first one, which was last episode number 4. And today we're getting into, since it's episode number 5, we're getting into the third game of the Cup. And this is where we're sitting at. We're sitting at third. I feel like if we win today, Minnesota will be knocked out. We'll be 2-1, which means we're going to be setting up our matchup with the Sacramento Kings. That is also depending on if Sacramento wins next game. If Sacramento wins their third game, and we win our third game, which means that the fourth game is going to be crucial, because if the Clippers did by chance lose their third game, they'll be 2-1 as well, which means we'll have 3 teams in our group play that are 2-1. So it's going to be key to see if we're going to get it into the Cup playoffs as well. But we're playing Minnesota today. They've got Mike Conley, Ant Edwards, Joe Ingles, Cat, and they're going to start Rudy Gobert over Naz Reid today. Naz Reid did start last game, which is why he's in the starting lineup now. Apparently, maybe Rudy went down with an injury or just needed his minutes restrictions enacted here. But Rudy will actually start today in the third game of the NBA group play today. So that's going to be interesting, because I believe with our starting lineup, we will have Alfred Sengun, so he's going to have a matchup today. I consider starting Steven Adams, but they're also the Minnesota Timberwolves. A good thing for us, they'll be without Jaden McDaniels, which is why Joe Ingles is getting the start at the 3 today. He did strain his left quad. He will be out for the next 1 to 2 weeks. So we won't see him today, but we'll see him later on this season when we play him against possibly. So we're sitting at 8-10. Minnesota Timberwolves are sitting at 12-4 on their season. And Houston has actually been playing above expectations, in my opinion. We've already won 8 games at the start of the season. Of course, the Houston Rockets did finish at 500, 41-41 last year. So we definitely want to get over that mid-tier hump. We were out of the playoffs last year. Didn't even make the play-in last year. So this year, our goal is to at least make the play-in. Has been the goal since the start of this season, and build from there. Of course, we do have 2 crucial contracts coming up, which is that of Jalen Green and that of Alfred Sengun, which, of course, next episode 6, we'll go over those contract negotiations. But let's get into the game today, as we've got the Minnesota Timberwolves losing the tip first to the Houston Rockets here to us. Cam Whitmore on the outside here, getting guarded by Joe Ingles, of course, and Cam Whitmore definitely more aggressive here with the right-hand finish, getting the scoring started for Houston over Minnesota. After we turn the ball over, actually, on our second possession of the game, Minnesota's going to start with the ball here. 2-1 game. Conley on the outside, kicking over to Ant Edwards for 3. Amen Thompson cannot catch up to him and can't close out effectively there. And Minnesota takes a 4-2 lead. Minnesota on top 6-4 with under 3 minutes gone here in the first frame. Fred VanVleet kicks it over to Cam Whitmore. Whitmore drives in with the left hand finish. Beautiful, strong dunk and move by the young small forward Cam Whitmore. Of course, he's been seeing an uptick in his minutes, and he got the start today over Amen Thompson at the 3. I want to see Cam get some starts here. Amen Thompson has kind of slowed down. I want to give him time with the reserves here to kind of pick back up his play. But Amen Thompson took over that starting role from Dillon Brooks at the beginning of the season. And then now we're going to have Cam Whitmore step in too. We're going to have a really good 1-2 punch here with Amen Thompson and Cam Whitmore for many years to come, if we can continue to keep them here. After a missed free throw here, Ant Edwards in transition for 3. He's going to knock it down from the outside. Ant Edwards at home is scoring 40 points a game. I mean, and they're at home here, so we're on a watch here. with Ant Edwards. Here's Robert Dillingham, the other rookie point guard that was picked. Besides Reed Shepard in the first round. Of course, he went after Reed in this latest draft. As Rob Dillingham showing off the moves here. He's already got an assist, and then he gets a 2-point bucket here on the Minnesota Timberwolves' next possession. Minnesota on top 29-24. Here's Tari Eason. Eason kicking over to Fred VanVleet in the corner. Fleet over to Tari Eason. Eason should have probably backed him down there. Had the much smaller Nickeil Alexander-Walker on him. As Fred VanVleet gets off the glass with the right hand. Gets it to go. Minnesota's on top 31-26 toward the end of the first quarter. Reed Shepard on the outside only has the assist so far, but he's going to get his first 2 points of the game. Beautiful, flashy layup there with the left-hand finish for the rookie point guard out of the University of Kentucky. 31-28, but he's going to actually get a foul, reach-in foul called on him on Anthony Edwards. Not a good move there. Anthony Edwards already has 16, looking for .17 here in the first quarter. He's not going to get 20, but he's going to get doggone close. He's going to finish up with 18 points here in the first quarter. And like I said, he's dropped an average of 40 points a game at home. And it's showing here. Ant Edwards is very effective, a very good shooter, high-volume shooter, as a matter of fact. And he is doing very, very well right now for this Minnesota squad. As that's going to end the first quarter. Minnesota has the lead 33-28 over our Houston Rockets. And Houston's going to have to come out swinging here for the rest of the game if we're going to plan on making this a run. Looking at the end of the first quarter, Stats Sengun finishes with 8 points. Amen Thompson with 7. He did turn the ball over once. I was very impressed, honestly, with Cam Whitmore, Fred VanVleet, and Alfred Sengun, and Amen Thompson. All of them played really well. Definitely want to see step-ups from Reed Shepard and Jabari Smith. He hasn't scored yet. He only has 3 rebounds to his name, but we got to somehow find a way to get our young four the ball here. Let's start the second quarter here. Rob Dillingham bringing it down the court here. VanVleet is guarding him. Dillingham over to Naz Reid from the top of the key. He's going to knock it down there, 36-28. Here's Ant Edwards on the outside. Edwards giving it over to Reed Shepard. Edwards driving in here. Puts a move on the rookie Reed Shepard. Reed Shepard able to keep his balance there. But Ant strong to the hole with the right hand finish over Steven Adams. Beautiful dunk there. And Minnesota's on top 40-30 here in this second quarter. As you see down on the ticker below, Houston hasn't scored in almost 2.5 minutes, and there's another point made, 2 points by Ant Edwards. But Fred VanVleet finally stops the scoring drought here with a beautiful kiss off the glass there. 42-30 for Ant Edwards in transition. Hits another 3, 45-32. This Minnesota team's not looking to go. Is looking to put the pedal to the metal as Nickeil Alexander-Walker hits one from the corner. Beautiful assist from the rookie Robert Dillingham there. 52-34. I mean, 6.5 left there. But Amen Thompson, that should have been a foul. Honestly, on God there. Should have been a foul, but no call. But he does get the bucket's fault. Amen Thompson again, trying it again. No deflection there as he dunks it hard with the right hand there. Beautiful finish by Amen Thompson. And Minnesota's on top 57-47. Under 3 minutes left here in the second quarter. Naz Reid with a beautiful move. Cam Whitmore called for his second personal of the game there. Here's Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He's going to go vertical there with the strong finish there. As Minnesota's taking a huge lead here, 64-51. Halfway through here, the game, 24 seconds left in the second quarter. That's Cat with a beautiful move there. He's got 18 points here in the half here. He's 2 of 3 from the three-point line. Like I said, Houston's defense has got to step up going into the rest of this game, actually. Amen Thompson driving in here. Kicks over to Tari Eason for 3. Beautiful shot by Tari. He's been known to do that. If we can get him open on the outside, he'll mostly makes it there from three-point line. But Minnesota will be up by 12 going into the halftime break. 66-54. Minnesota's having their way with this Houston defense. If Houston's planning to keep up here in the cup, they're going to have to step up. But let's go to the halftime report here as the first game of Chicago did beat us 126-105. Chicago jumped up to 9-5. We dropped to 6-8 at that time. Van Fleet had 21. Sengun had 12 boards. We shot 35% from the three-point line. Our three-point shooting definitely needs to improve, and we need to probably take a more higher volume of shots at this point in the season. But against the Milwaukee Bucks, we did get the win, 104-101. Higher volume of shots from three-point. We shot 38 times. We made 13, making that 34%. But Reed Sheppard had an outstanding game. His first start of the season had 20 points. Sengun had 14. Sheppard and Thompson each had 6 assists. Eason also led the way with steals and blocks. We did take an L against Indiana, of course, which was kind of expected. We were really much outmatched, especially down low. Even though Sengun and Tari Eason 8, they had 17 apiece. Sengun also had 19 boards. Assist leader Dylan Brooks actually finished with 4 assists in that game. Didn't shoot all that well, and as a team, we didn't shoot that well either. In our cup game against Portland, we edged them 121-120, which made us 1-1 in group play. We shot 51% from the field, basically, but the free throws are still horrible, under 70% from the free throw line. Not a good look for us, but Amin Thompson did finish with 31. Jabari Smith Jr. finishes with 12 boards. But in the exact next game, the next night game, after we get the winning group play, they actually beat us by 7, 112-105, dropping us to 8-10 on the season. Easton finishes with 19. Sengun finishes with 11. Fleet finishes with 6 assists. Jabari Smith did have 2 steals. And then that led us to this game here. In the second quarter alone, Amin Thompson did finish with 6 points, 3 boards, and assists. Cam Whitmore still playing outstandingly well, 5 points. Van Fleet finishes with 4. Sheppard stepped up in that second quarter. He had 4 points with a rebound. Jabari Smith still no points on his on the card for him, so he's gonna have to step up here in the second half, especially if we don't look to replace him with Tari Eason. But let's get started in the second half of play here. As Minnesota will start with the ball here. Anthony Edwards kicks it over to Karl Anthony Towns in the corner here. Towns bodying up Jabari Smith Jr. gets his own board, kicks it outside to Anthony Edwards. Edwards looking, step back with the 2. He's going to get the friendly roll. The rim really loves Anthony Edwards here because he's had a couple of shots that have gone in that way. Amin Thompson guarded by Anthony Edwards very tight. They're not trying to let him get to the hole again as Fred Van Fleet kicks it over to Jabari Smith Jr. getting his first 2 points of the game. And we need to get him going here if we plan on doing anything against this Minnesota team. We're down by 9 here, but Anthony Edwards going to extend the lead again by 12. I thought the shot was going to be off, but because it's Anthony Edwards, it goes in. 10 divided 6s, we've got a steal alert by Fred Van Fleet. Kicks it over to Amin Thompson all alone. He basically, after the steal from Fred Van Fleet, Amin Thompson streaking down the court, butt naked, and he gets it done with the right-hand finish. Shot here by Anthony Edwards. Again, another 3. We can't talk enough. He's at 40 halfway through the third quarter. I mean, we're looking at almost a 60-burger here. Conley for 3 from the corner. And there's nothing this Houston team can do. Minnesota's up 90-72 over our Rockets, and it's just not a good game for us. Fred Fleet has 9 assists. He's going to get his 10th here. Tari Eason, his second 3 of the game. 90-75 here as Rudy Gobert, guarded by Steven Adams. Pretty good cover. Anthony Edwards, what are we doing as he's just wide open? He misses the shot, but Karl Anthony Towns gets it back either way. 93-78. 97-80 here. Under 2 minutes, Fred Fleet kicking it to Steven Adams. He gets his second bucket of the game to go. That's 4 points for the big man, Steven Adams. 100-86. And we're not even in the fourth yet. Like, that's the we have Nate Hinton guarding Anthony Edwards at this point. It's not going to be a good cover. Anthony Edwards going to spot up for 3 again. He's on fire. Anthony Edwards, 49, and we're not even in the fourth quarter. He's got 50. I mean, like I said, he's going to have at least 60 by the end of the game. Like, we're cooked. As Dylan Brooks late gets it up for 3, can't get it to fall. 105-86. At the end of the third quarter, it's just not looking good for Houston. It looks like we're going to actually lose here in the third game of group action with this Houston team. And honestly, I'm so proud of our guys. We did try to make it competitive, but it's just not looking good for us as we actually had 2 players turning the ball over. Amin Thompson again, that's his second turnover of the game. Van Fleet did turn the ball over as well. Jabari Smith, great third quarter. He had 7 points. He did notch a block as well. More quiet from Cam Whitmore today in the third quarter, so maybe in the fourth we'll see him step up here. But that's the plan here. 105-86. Van Fleet putting on the brakes here. 13-11 game. No, 13-11 game frame. Here's Tari Eason driving in. Eason for 2. He gets a beautiful finish. Tough layup there by Tari Eason. And now we've got Edwards here driving in. Kicking over to Luka Garza for 3. He's not, this Minnesota team just was lights out from the three-point line. As you can clearly tell from this game, Ant Edwards was on. Everybody was on, basically. As Edwards for 2, that gives him what? Freaking 56? Like, he's killing it. Like, he's murdered this Houston team. There's nothing we can do. Amin Thompson gets 22 there, 119 to 100, and then 123 to 102. Ant Edwards just for icing on the cake. Another two-hand dunk there, 125 to 102. There's really nothing Houston could do in this matchup. There's really nothing right we could do. It's like everything we did, we tried to hedge Anthony Edwards. This Houston team just could not match up against this team. Could not match up against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Jabari Smith, 7 and 8 with an assist, and he's going to get called for a charge here on Mike Conley. That's just been the way this game has gone. This Houston team this Minnesota team just played outstandingly well. As you see, we got a lot of reserves in here with 5 seconds left. That's going to do it. We were cooked here at the end in the game, the whole game. Minnesota convincing win, 23-point deficit victory. For this Minnesota team. They beat us 133 to 110, which drops us to 8-11 on the season after this loss. And it's going to be really just back to the drawing board here for this Houston Rockets team. We shot 52% from the field. We were 23% from behind the three-point line. Again, under 70% from the free throw line. Steven Adams had a great fourth quarter. I've got to admit it. Even Fred VanVleet had a great fourth quarter. Tari Eason had another big 3 at the end of the game. But still, this team this Minnesota team are them. They are very good. It was a good challenge for this Houston team. It kind of tells us where we need to improve, especially offensive, defensively. Now, as we go through the stats here, you had Steven Adams with the dub. Amin Thompson I believe he had a double-double as well, guys. But, guys, that's going to set us up for the end of November recap, which is coming up in episode number 6, actually. Which will be the next video you see in this playlist. We're going to go over stats. We're going to go over league leaders. We're going to go over injury report. We're going to go all of that. I have started looking at some possible trade stuff for a couple of players. I don't know when I'm going to have a video for that. That's going to be its own standalone video. It will be, of course, before the trade deadline, so you guys can take a look and see what I'm thinking. But it also depends on the trades that I've looked at, or it's also going to depend on how these other teams finish as well around the trade deadline. And if we're really going to be buyers or sellers right now, I'm going to say we're going to be more in the stay put range. We have played well enough with the core we've got, but there are a couple of guys I do think we should offload. Try to get some capital for them, guys. But that's going to do it for episode number 5. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next episode, episode number 6, as we go over the recap of November. Later.